What up, YouTube? It's Dead Guy Cardboard. I am back with a giveaway. This is my first ever giveaway. Decided to do one of these because I recently reached 500 subscribers. So this is a mini celebration of that. And the giveaway is going to be these two cards. This T206 Tom Downey VG 3.5 and this Barry Larkin Fleer Glossy Rookie. And these cards are very representative of my collection, so I thought this would be fitting as a giveaway prize. Now, to get the giveaway prize, or to be entered in the raffle, I want you to do a video of how you got back into the hobby. And I know there's been other contests and giveaway with a similar theme about talking about how you got back into the hobby and you're collecting, but if you've already done a video about that, I would also just love to hear how your collecting has evolved. So without further ado, I am going to talk about how I got back into collecting and how my collection has evolved. And it's kind of embarrassing, actually. It all started because of this card. This is the 1994 Finest Michael Jordan. Back in around 2012, I was just browsing the internet and I came across an article on Yahoo, or maybe it was MSN.com, their homepage, and it was talking about collectibles. I think the article was even about Beanie Babies and whether or not your collectibles from the 90s are worth anything. And then that kind of got me thinking, oh, I want to look back at the cards that I collected in grade school. And I remember picking this up, I don't know, in the early days of eBay. And this is like a big card for me at the time. I think I spent like $30, which is a lot in 7th or 6th grade. I don't remember when I bought this. And I looked this card up on eBay back in 2012, and it said it's worth around $250 to $300, and I was just blown away, and that kind of got me hooked. Not, you know, I didn't want to collect just for the monetary value, but I was just kind of fascinated that, oh wow, these cards that I was collecting as a kid are worth something. It took me about 6 months to realize that the card that was worth $250 to $300 was the refractor version. I don't know what I was thinking, but thanks to this card, I kind of got the bug to start collecting again. But this, just as a quick background of what I collected as a kid, I primarily collected basketball cards because the kids around my neighborhood would collect basketball cards. There was a kid that was older than me that lived next door to me. He was a big Shaquille O'Neal collector, so I too collected some basketball cards. And here's just a couple that I saved. I love these SB Hollow View cards. Nick Van Exel. It's a pretty early Kobe. Jason Kidd. You can tell these are pretty old because the top loaders have yellowed. Yeah, so none of these cards are really worth anything. I mean, there's a couple of rookies in here, but they weren't kept in the greatest shape. Jerry Stackhouse rookie, Kevin Garnett rookie. This is kind of cool. This is like a Pete Maravich, severely off-centered, off-cut card. And I also I collected mostly Michael Jordan cards when I was a kid. I had a shrine to Michael Jordan, so I set up all these cards on a bookshelf. I'm sure some of these were exposed to the sun. That's why some of these cards are pretty yellow. But like most kids in the 90s, I was a big Michael Jordan fan, even though I was from Cincinnati. We didn't really have a basketball team. So, you know, I have these old slabs of Michael Jordan cards. So yeah, I have a bunch of these Jordans that aren't really worth anything. I did have a autograph card which I worshipped as a kid. Little did I know that these screw-ons damaged the card. And this is like a card I cherish too. This is the 1989 Donruss Ken Griffey Jr. card. I found this in it was like a mixed carton. I think back in the late 90s they just threw in a bunch of the junk wax cards in these little canisters, and I found this in there, and I was so stoked when I picked this up. It would probably grade out like a 4 or 5. Anyway, and this is a card that I also picked up when I was in the 90s, or maybe it was really early 2000s. So this got me back into the hobby. This made me like, oh, well, this is cool. Like, I kind of want to get back into collecting cards. But I realized that, even in 2012, basketball cards were just really expensive. I mean, even then, the value of basketball cards, especially the basketball inserts, were worth a lot. But there were some other cards I've always wanted to pick up that I couldn't afford as a kid. So I picked up the classic Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr., which everyone wanted. Picked up this 1990 Fleer Michael Jordan. I remember busting packs of this as a kid. My local card store had a bunch of 90 Fleer basketball packs. I always wanted to pull one of these, but I never did. I just love the pose of this card. And I always wanted to pick up this Fuckface Air card. And that got me hooked for a brief time on collecting other Air cards. And if you've looked at some of my earliest videos on YouTube, back around 2012, I posted a video about Air cards and kind of funny cards. And these are some of those cards. Like, this is the Bat Boy. This is not Aurelio Rodriguez. I don't think I showed this one, but this is Leon Washington giving the double bird. Billy Martin flicking off the camera. There's like a funny cartoon in the back of this. Like, it looks like he's doing something to that cow. There's just sort of ass in the background. I don't know. This is sort of a juvenile collection. Puffer Bong, their names. Guy with his grabbing his crotch. This is later whited out. This is a pretty neat card. This is a Jordan wearing number 12, the jersey number 12. Someone stole his jersey right before the game, and they couldn't replace it with his number 23 jersey, so they just gave him this number 12 jersey just for one game. And this is the only card that shows Jordan with the number 12. These are just some goofy cards and some cartoons in the back. So yeah, and then I started just randomly researching tobacco cards. And when I was on vacation with a girlfriend at the time, I don't know, I was just bored laying on the beach, and I just randomly decided to buy this lot of tobacco cards. These are tennis tobacco cards. And I bought the entire set of tobacco tennis cards. I think these are from the 20s. They're a British set. I bought them for like, I don't know, 30 bucks. I just was so amazed that I was able to acquire an entire set, and I just loved the dimensions of these little cards. So that made me want to research further into tobacco cards, and really the first cards that come up when you're researching tobacco cards are the T206 cards. I had heard of the Honus Wagner, and then I just started digging in further, and I wanted to pick up a Reds player, so I picked this. This is my first T206 I ever picked up. It was in a PSA holder. I since converted this to a SGC case because I just fell in love with the black casing with the white borders. I think it just looks really nice. And at the time, it was also a lot cheaper to grade SGC than PSA. It still is, but SGC's prices have gone up since like 2012. And from then on, I wanted to collect more T206 cards, so I started with collecting the T206 Reds set. So I picked up all the Reds players. And then once I did that, I really fell in love with the portraits. They're gorgeous. So here's just a couple of them. Ed Walsh, Hall of Fame pitcher. The eccentric, bizarre pitcher, Rube Waddell, another Hall of Famer. Just gorgeous cards. So the common player, he was in the outfield with Ty Cobb, but just a gorgeous looking card. And then I started picking up the rare backs of T206, and I'm continuing to find some other T206 backs. And I also did a back run of Johnny Kling. But I also wanted to, get a little, diversify my collection some more. And really in the last 2 years, T206 cards have really increased in value. I've been wanting to pick up a Ty Cobb red for a while, but I had screen grabbed some cards I was interested in like a couple years ago, T206 red Cobbs, and they were like great looking VG3 well-centered cards for about $1,200. And I was looking at those pictures recently, and now a VG3 red Cobb is double that price. So anyway, I wanted to kind of find a cheaper alternative to collecting some of these T206 cards. I mean, I still collect them, but I decided to start collecting members of the 3,000 hit club and 500 home run club. So I started picking up cards like this. I still do. It's become kind of difficult now because the cards I need, most of them now, are pretty expensive. And I'm even starting to pick up cards of players who I think might make the club. So like this Justin Upton has a slim but somewhat of a chance of maybe making one of the clubs. And then I really fell in love with other YouTubers that were posting their 90s insert collections. And like I said, the basketball insert cards are just way too expensive. There's a lot of European collectors and Asian collectors that are really driving the prices up. But I figured a good alternative would be the basketball side or the baseball side of that. And I was a Barry Larkin fan growing up, so I've been collecting Barry Larkin 90s inserts. I'm trying to go after the tough ones. So here's a few of them. Look at the shine on that. Woo. So yeah, that's kind of where my collection's at now. I collect T206s, I collect vintage cards, I collect members of the clubs, and Barry Larkin inserts. And it all started because I thought this was a incredibly valuable card, or at least a card that I bought for next to nothing as a kid. So I need to pick up the refractor version of this card, just because this card actually, refractor version, is expensive, but it's not terribly bad compared to a lot of Jordan cards that have really skyrocketed. So going back to the giveaway, I'm going to give away both of these cards. If I can find the other one, the T206 Tom Downey and the Barry Larkin. And what I want you to do to be entered into this raffle, I'm going to do a the random.org raffle, is to post a video of how you started collecting it. How did you get back in the hobby? How did you get back in the hobby? If you had already done a video about talking about how you got back in the hobby and you don't want to kind of repeat that, I'd also just love to know like how your collection has evolved. Maybe you recently watched a minor league game and you fell in love with this player and now you collect his prospect cards, or you're piecing someone else, or suddenly you're into hockey and you're collecting hockey cards. I'd love to know at least kind of the evolution of your collection. This contest per se will end in 10 days. I'm going to cut it off at July 24th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So get in your videos by then. But there's going to be two ways to enter this raffle. One could be a video, and I want you to post it in the comments below in this video, a video response of how you started collecting and how you got back in the hobby. And if you do that, I'll give you two slots basically in the raffle. I want to reward people for doing a video. If you don't have time to do a video, that's fine. You can just, in the comments below in this video, just mention in a description of how you got back in the hobby, and they'll give you kind of one entry. After July after 7 p.m. on July 24th Eastern Time, I can't accept any more entries. And sometime that night, or maybe the following day or two, I will announce the winner, and I'll show it on random.org, and you'll receive these 2 cards. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Peace.